I continue on transformation of sex energy, its techniques. I have spoken to you about the particular type of breathing that helps to activate the solar plexus and thus the entire system. The link to this video where this particular yoga exponent Swami Ramdev is demonstrating the particular type of breathing that is known as Kapalabhati. The link to this video is posted. You can click this video, the link, and you will be connected to the video. He has many other videos, and also he has 1 hour program on Z Network every morning. He has his channel totalbhakti.com, which is a spiritual channel where many masters and the exponents speak on various aspects of the Hindu philosophy and Hindu way of life. Now, solar plexus is a very important part of the human biology as well as human psychology. It is a multi-purpose organ. It stores the energy, it connects you to the cosmic energy, establishes a bridge between the cosmic energy and the energy within your body. It is the source of nourishment when the child is in the fetus form in mother's womb. Through the solar plexus, you receive the nourishment while the fetus in the mother's womb through the umbilical cord. And when you establish this connection with the cosmic energy consciously, then you are connected to the cosmic energy. And also it is connected to the main source, main center where the energy is stored in the body, which is the Mooladhara Chakra, or the first center that is known as the earth center. So when you are doing this particular type of breathing, you are becoming a bridge between the storehouse of this energy within your body and the cosmic, because the energy has to come in from a cosmic source, like your cupboard that contains all the groceries. So you become the bridge. You go and bring the groceries or the items from the supermarket, and then you store it in that particular place. So you become the bridge between a connection. You interconnect the supermarket shelves and your shelves in your cupboard. So solar plexus acts in that. Through the process of breathing, it connects you to the cosmic energy, because when you are breathing, the energy is being infused into your body, and then it is stored somewhere. Maybe it is stored in a place where it is frozen. It comes in, but it is not used. So what happens? If you bring certain items, grocery items, and they are not consumed in a particular way or in the right way, they get spoiled. So you have to be very active knowingly, not that unconsciously you are bringing the things, putting in the cupboard and then leaving it there. They tend to rot, spoil. So you have to be very conscious what you are bringing in, what you need to use it, and how to use it, and when to use it. This is the purpose of this center. But this center on its own cannot do it. Yes, the breathing becomes a natural process. but you can make it a conscious process. You can go to the supermarket unconsciously thinking of something else and pick up the items as a sleeping one. Then you do not know what you bought. Then you do not know what you were supposed to buy. You are going to the supermarket to buy the ingredients for a particular recipe, but you do not know what it is needed. That is not the way. Pranayam means you are becoming. Prana means life force. Ayam means the way. Life force becomes the way of your life. You are consciously into it. Kapalabhati, it comes from the two words. Kapal means the forehead. That particular part of the skull which is the forefront, the forehead. And Bhati means shining. When you continue to do this particular exercise, all the systems, the parts in the body, the psychocenters are activated. They are working in the right proportion. Just as when your auto mechanism works in harmony, all the parts, pistons, the engine, the brakes, everything work in harmony with one another. There is no squeaks, there is no sound or anything. So whenever you have to do the service, you have to do the oil spray underneath so that there is no more squeaking. So solar plexus through the breathing connects you to your center, which is the earth center, Mooladhara center, that is also known as Mooladhara center according to the Hindu system, and it is also known as the sex center. Hindus say it is the seat of the Hindu deity, the elephant-headed god Ganesh. Hindus have been most comprehensive as far as the human system is concerned. It is an important part of Shat Karma, means known as Shat Karma. Karma means action, Sat means 7, and Shat Kriya. Kriya also means action. So it is a part of that. The yogic system of the body cleansing. It is the part of the body cleansing technique. It is made up of two words, Kapal meaning the skull. Here it particularly refers to the front part of the forehead, front part of the skull, which is the forehead. And Bhati means shining or illuminating. When this particular way of breathing is done, the forehead becomes shiny eventually after a period of time. Hence the word is used in that way. It is intended mainly to clean the cranial sinus, but it has many effects according to the scripture, Gharand, Samhita and other sources. The technique of Kapalabhati involves short and long forceful exhalation. Exhalation is conscious, inhalation is automatic. Because when you look at the breathing in itself, you know as breathing. But there has been no system that has done so much of elaborate explanation, research onto this particular aspect of human existence, breathing. Breathing has three aspects. First is inhaling. Inhaling is known as Purak. Then there is exhalation. Then there is a holding of the breath. These are the three aspects of the breathing. Kumbhaka means holding the breath. Rechika means exhaling. And Purak means inhaling. Rechika is exhaling. Purak is inhaling. Inhaling is an automatic process. It is non-voluntary. If it was a voluntary action, then you may forget that you have to breathe. Just as sometimes when you are busy, you forget meals. But breathing and the heartbeat are two non-voluntary actions in the body. That's why whether you are sleeping, waking, or involved in any particular action, the breathing continues. So in this particular type of breathing, Kapalabhati, the emphasis is on exhalation. The inhalation is very short, maybe just very short, and exhalation is very forceful and a conscious effort, and there is no emphasis on holding the breath. Then it becomes a tool to connect you. Then it becomes a tool to connect you to your reservoir, the source of energy within your body. And the inhalation connects you to the cosmic source of it. Inhalation connects you to the cosmic source, and exhalation is the process that connects you to your, it firstly cleanses the system. Inhalation connects you to the cosmic source of energy, the outside, the outer source. And through exhalation, you makes the inner connection more and more strong and active. And also it helps in detoxifying your system, detoxifying all that is negative in you, that is health hazard in you. So the inner channels are cleansed, and then the connection between the cosmic source and the inner source becomes more and more prominent. Due to the process, the inner system gets cleansed, the sinus, the nostrils, and all that inner system is cleansed, and then the connection becomes clear. I will not go into the types of Kapalabhati. Instead, I will go into how this should be done, in what position and how it is to be done. So when you look at this video, you will be able to see what actually happens to your stomach region. When you are exhaling the air that is there, and you are exhaling so forceful, not a slow motion, forceful, that all the air is exhaled immediately. When there is a blockage somewhere and you use a plunger, your drain is, kitchen sink is blocked, you use a plunger, and this is to be done in a fast motion. Only then a force is generated. If you are doing slow, the force is not generated. Force is generated when something is done very forcefully, and then immediately the block is cleared. So this is the process to clear all the blocks. And when the blocks is cleared, then what happens? The energy begins to move naturally. And when your belly is contracted, the energy tends to begin to move upward, and that is the whole process of transforming the sex energy, so that it is not moving in the natural way as it is going downward. Instead, its movement becomes upward. Since this process is related to breathing, it should be performed in a sitting position. Sitting position does not mean you sit on the chair, then it is not comfortable, and then the breathing may not be as it should be possible. But once you have practiced and perfected the art of this breathing, then you can do it even while sitting on the chair. But the best posture for this is the lotus posture, where your body parts, organs make a circle. So when the circle is there, the energy is not releasing anywhere outside. When you are just standing, your hands and feet all are not interconnected, then the energy can release from the finger ends of the nerves. When you are sitting in the lotus posture, the legs crossed, palms resting on your knees, there is a connection. You become a circle. Then if you have to express your anger, you have to remove the hand from there and then move it. But you remember, you are sitting in the lotus posture to continue your meditation or exercise or pranayama. So it is better to begin with the lotus posture. The muscles of the stomach should be moved freely in this process. When you are sitting in that position, your back is upright, straight. The muscles in this stomach region around the solar plexus are free to move, to contract and expand. This freeness cannot be achieved while sitting or sleeping in any other position. Hence, the process can be performed well while sitting in a meditation posture, or the lotus posture is very suitable for meditation as well as for these pranayama exercise. Hence, this process should be done while sitting in Padmasana. It may be performed while sitting in other postures, which is known as VAJRASANA. This is the posture in which Muslims sit during the period of their prayer. In this, your legs are folded under your seat and you are resting on your toes. The weight of the seat is on the heels. Knees are slightly slanted, because when you keep you are sitting on your toes and your seat is resting on the heels, it naturally forms a slope. Knees are touching the ground. You can look at this posture also by logging into the VAJRASANA process. VAJRASANA, it is spelled as you see on your screen. So you can use this posture as well, but it is better to use lotus posture, or it is known as Padmasana. I will give you the spelling of that particular posture as well. You can Google it. Now, with the technology, it has become so convenient that we can communicate, we can have the communes like these without being physically present. But the technology is being used not for spiritual transformation but for other things. It may be performed in sitting in other posture, VAJRASANA or SWASTIKASANA, that is another posture that you can look into, but this is for your knowledge that you can use SWASTIKASANA or VAJRASANA, but Padmasana is the most suitable and recommended position for this particular pranayama. The position of your body during Padmasana is essential here, and it is helpful in this particular pranayama. It is a process where the inhaling and exhaling is done in a particular way. Purak is for the namesake, the inhaling is for the namesake. It is an automatic process and it is very short and no emphasis is given on this. Rechika, which is exhaling, the whole emphasis is given on this, and it is performed in a typical manner. The holding is completely forgotten in this. It is more important to exhale, and exhaling should be forceful. It is to be performed by way of effecting a push with the help of the stomach muscle. You are contracting the stomach muscles. When you exhale, you are also aware that your muscles in the stomach area are contracting. So when you want to remove all the air from a particular balloon or anything, you squeeze it in order to remove all the existing air within the system. This is known as Rechika or exhaling. You are removing all the air from there. Here you are, in the beginning when you are exhaling, you are clearing your system within. All the arteries and their functions. While performing Rechika, it is to be performed by way of effecting a push with the help of the stomach muscles. The diaphragm and the muscles of the abdomen are to be moved violently. I use the word violently because that is the correct word. When you are using excessive force to do a particular thing, it is known as violently. And the air should be exhaled with the help of that movement. By violently contracting the solar plexus, you are exhaling. Hence, the Rechika is not prolonged and more air should not be exhaled. It is not like that you are doing it in a slow motion. You are doing it like in a very fast motion that you will see on the video. And as you do exhale, it can be done through the nostril as well as through the mouth. It's better to do through the nostrils, but some of the air is expelled through the mouth as well. In day-to-day life, we exhale approximately 500 to 600 cc's per exhalation. This is the normal way. But here, during the Kapalabhati process, the approximate force of exhalation increases to, in the beginning, begins with 550 to 650 cc of air. And then as you do it more forcefully, it is exhaled even faster. This is the process of plunging. When you do it forcefully, the blockages that are there in the system, they are cleared. Here we are removing the blockages, so the energy tend to move freely. And when you are conscious of this particular process, then the energy begins to move upward. And the process becomes automatic. Then you do not have to do anything. Automatically you realize that the energy that was going into the lower emotions, sex, violence and all these things, it begins to move upward and it becomes compassion. When this particular exercise is done continuously for a longer period of time, forcefully I mean also prolonged, means for a longer period of time, means that is instead of doing 20 exhalations or 30 exhalations, but in the beginning that is how you have to begin. Then it can increase as much as you can, then its effect becomes visible. You are no more interested in sex as it is normally, and you have a complete control over your energy. Sex begins to transform into compassion, and then it can be done according to your capacity. I have increased this to over 500 every morning. This morning before coming for this meditation, actually it is 508 times I do this particular exhalation every morning, because more than that it is not necessary for me. It is enough. So you realize that at that level, the energy that was usually going to be anger, and when anger becomes too much concentrated, it begins to take the form of violence. First it begins with domestic violence, then the violence becomes more prominent and it becomes criminality. So when Rachika is performed after such a push, the muscles of the abdomen and the diaphragm are loosened. Then automatically the air is inhaled. You are inhaling because a vacuum is created, and vacuum by nature cannot remain there. Immediately the air from outside comes in to fill that gap. There is no short break. Breathing becomes normal. Like when people are suffering from asthma, their intake of the air is very short. Not enough air is coming into the system. That's why you are given the and also your inner system is not cleansed. There are blockages. So the medicines are used in order to clear that system. That is why it is said in asthma, you clear the system, clear the asthma. It is purely an imbalance of the breathing. It can be aggravated by any other reasons, anything. So immediately when you smell something which is not very pleasant, you begin to reduce your intake of the air. That time a quick breathing, a fast movement, which is like a chaotic breathing, haphazard breathing, consciously, it helps to clear that thing immediately. When you are climbing up on the hill, you find that more energy, more air is needed. Doing the fast breathing that time, consciously it helps in that matter. And when you reach, you are still short of breath, as we normally say. Doing a quick succession of the fast breathing, it helps to maintain the balance again. So when Rachika is performed, that is exhalation is performed after such a push, the muscles of the abdomen and the diaphragm are loosened because constantly moving. This is what actually happens when the people tend to get older. They become hard of hearing. They can't hear clearly. Why? Because hearing is a particular process. It requires the movement of the diaphragm and the ears. You know, when you look at the speaker has a diaphragm over it, and when the sound waves comes into it, the diaphragm vibrates. If there is a damage in that, the diaphragm is not vibrating, you are not hearing. That's why it is said the speaker is damaged. Its diaphragm needs to be repaired or make it stronger. So it is made strong and loosened, that its movement becomes very natural. It contracts and expands naturally. So as you tend to get older, the muscles in the eardrums, that is the diaphragm, tend to get stiff. So too your muscles in the stomach get stiff. And when the muscles and the diaphragm get stiff, the diaphragm is supposed to move up and down, and in that the process of the breathing is completed. But if diaphragm is stiff, nothing is happening. So when the diaphragm, the eardrums gets stiff, it is not moving. It has to be activated so that it remains flexible. And when it is flexible, your hearing is, the decibels is natural and normal. For that, breathing can be used as a tool. You inhale, and as you inhale, hold your nostrils very tightly that the air cannot escape through the nostrils. And then you exhale very forcefully. You know your nostrils are closed, blocked. so the air cannot escape through the nostrils. Your mouth is completely closed, the air cannot escape through the mouth. Then what is the nearest source from where the air will escape? It escapes through the airs. And when it is escaping through that, it vibrates the diaphragm and the airs. It loosens that. And when you continuously do it every day during part of your exercise, then it maintains the flexibility, and the problem of hard of hearing is not there in the system. Breathing is a very important tool, and if you know the correct art of breathing, you can correct many of your ailments that are there. Rachika, or the exhalation, has to be forceful. The 550 to 650 cc of the air is expelled with each exhalation. And then when the diaphragm and the muscles in the abdomen gets thus loosened, how can you loosen that? This is where, when we do certain type of the dances which is known as gyration, it helps to loosen the muscles. But we are not doing it for our benefit. We are doing it for demonstration. That is what is done during those kind of the movements when the dancers do. The kind of clothes they wear and then they show. The emphasis is not on that. Emphasis is on attracting the others. But here you are doing it for your own benefit, for your own health improvement. So only minimal inhalation is done in that process. However, one exhalation and one inhalation does not constitute the cycle of Kapalabhati. You have to know the first the unit, then how many units you have to put together in order to complete the process of Kapalabhati, the particular pranayam that we are intending to do. One short inhalation, prolonged, forceful exhalation constitute one unit of Kapalabhati. Then many units of this make the complete pranayam. A cycle or rotation of Kapalabhati should be performed as follows. Keep breathing, inhalation gradual while sitting in Padmasana, the lotus posture. Inhale and start performing the Kapalabhati as explained. Forceful exhalation, contracting your stomach muscles and loosening the diaphragm. That means a strong exhalation, natural inhalation, and again strong exhalation and natural inhalation. Natural inhalation, forceful exhalation, then again inhalation and exhalation. This completes one unit of Kapalabhati. And you have to keep on doing this with rotation swiftly in a rhythmic manner. Perform as many cycles as possible. This is one cycle. Inhalation, exhalation, inhalation and exhalation. 2 inhalations followed by a forceful exhalation completes a cycle. And you can perform as many cycles as you wish. Begin with 20, 30, then increase up to 500, then the process becomes very effective. Then you begin to see the results of this. In a cycle of Kapalabhati, swift exhalation followed by inhalations are expected. Both the actions are so swift that duration cannot be definitely determined. How much is the gap between the two? However, after studying the process minutely, it can be said that inhalation and exhalation together, about half a second is the duration. So in a minute, you're supposed to do about 35 to 40 cycles. 35 to 40 cycles. When you are listening to this video, before that you watch the video link that I have given to you. You see the process, then you are listening to this together, then it will become complete a face-to-face demonstration, as if the yoga teacher is sitting in front of you and demonstrating. This is the effect of the technology. Approximately 3-4 times is required for Rachika and 1/4 for the inhalation. 3-4 times for exhalation and 1/4 for inhalation. Of course, this is just to give an idea. It is not perfect and may not be strictly adhered to. It is not possible to adhere to it strictly. But what is very important, that each time when you exhale, your stomach muscles are contracted. They go in and they come out, very quick movement. In that, the muscles are loosened and the diaphragm, because these muscles are directly connected to your diaphragm, which is under the ribs. And diaphragm helps in the process of breathing. So loosening the diaphragm and loosening the stomach muscles. In that, the breathing becomes normal. It is not that you are holding any breath or anything, because when you are emotionally disturbed, you hold on your breath. When a child is crying, is emotionally disturbed, child is crying. At the same time, the mother says, stop crying. If you stop crying, otherwise I will give you a slap. What happens? The child naturally learns to hold on to his breath. By holding his breath, he holds on to his emotions. And then those emotions remain accumulated within your system and becomes the blockages, the toxins in the system. This is one of the ways to remove those toxins. The body becomes very active. And then when you are contracting the stomach muscles and the diaphragm is loose, and the energy begins to, and when you are conscious of this process as well, then the energy begins to move upward. This is what was meant in that quote, which was referred by Prem Sutra in one of her questions, that although the belly breathing is important, but you are contracting the belly breathing. I am not telling you not to breathe with the belly, I am not telling you to contract, but it is a comprehensive process. You cannot just take one word and try to understand the sentence. The whole message is comprehensive. It is all the words put together, all the paragraphs put together brings the meaning. So, of course, this is just to give an idea. It is not perfect and may not be strictly adhered to. It is not possible to adhere to any particular way of strictly. None of the ancient Sanskrit yoga describes how many cycles of inhalation and exhalation should be performed in a cycle of Kapalabhati. Although for the assistance I gave you 2 inhalation and 2 exhalation, but you can determine your own rhythm. When the process can be performed neatly, the inhalation and exhalation should be performed at least 21 times in a cycle of Kapalabhati. You begin with 2 and 2, and then it goes 21 cycles, 21 in a cycle of Kapalabhati. And that is how the frequency is increased. Such 3 cycles may be performed in one sitting. When this much is achieved, then the repetition within a cycle can be increased. Each one should increase the repetition as per his individual capacity and strength. Between the 2 cycles of Kapalabhati, gradual breathing should be continued. To further the study of Kapalabhati, either the repetition of inhalation or exhalation within a cycle should be increased by keeping those repetitions constant. The number of cycles may go on increasing. All these things should be considered thoroughly on the basis of the experience of one's own, also under the guidance of an expert. Any noise comes in, see the rhythm in it, see the harmony in it. And certain music, like the chirping of the birds when in the morning during the meditation sessions are there, I allow this so that it becomes a part of our meditation. Do not. This is the very purpose of being in the company of a master and understanding that nothing should distract you. You are in harmony with everything that is happening. A dog barking, a bee humming, a raindrop falling, door opening. All these are part of the outer life. You are flowing with this. When the noise is a little too much, you reduce this. You are sitting like the DJ, the sound operator, who knows which sound to amplify and which sound to reduce, which musical instrument to make it more prominent and which to reduce the intensity. Like an expert, he sits down. Be an expert. That you can reduce the particular noise which is not needed, rather than normal way is that I am meditating and even the dogs have to start barking. The dogs do not know whether you are barking or not. So what's the difference between you and a dog? You are conscious. Consciousness is given to you. Use that. Dog's nature is to bark. If dogs will not bark, will you bark? No, dogs will bark. That is their nature. You use your consciousness and flow with that rhythm. You will find that nothing will distract you in your life. So there are many physical effects of these, which I will speak in tomorrow's session. So in the meantime, you look at the video, the link is given, and there are scores of videos on and using the yoga for a particular treatment of a particular complaint or ailment. And this particular yoga exponent, Swami Ramdev, is very comprehensive, explains it very beautifully. But the only problem is this, he explains in Hindi. So I do not know if any of his videos are available in English. I have not explored into it. You can do it. And his name is, I will put it on the screen, Swami Ramdev. And totalbhakti.com, his TV channel. This is his site, and there is a particular his TV channel that continues to broadcast the spiritual discourses, and it's a Hindu religious site. Hindu religious site means it incorporates even the other aspects of Hinduism, but not any other religion. Christianity or Mohammedanism is not included in this particular channel. My emphasis is whatever is the best, choose it from there. And when you go to the supermarket, you look at the best brand of the products, irrespective of where they come from, who is the manufacturer. As long as it is conducive to your health, you bring it to your home for consumption. You do not study whether this particular item is made by a Hindu or a Muslim or Christian or a Jew. As long as it has the qualities to enhance your health and maintain a healthy lifestyle, you bring it. Only this much for this morning.